Hi there, welcome to O-Cycle Japan information session. Thank you so much to everybody who's joining live and those who are watching this virtually. We are Shelley and
Masato.
we're going to give you some more information about O-Cycle about Japan, our tours, and answer any questions that you might have about anything along the way. So let's get into it and talk more about the cycling tours. Let us share our screen. Japanese food. Okay, so we are again O-Cycle Japan. We're out of Calgary, Alberta, offering tours in Japan. Today we're going to talk about our self-guided cycling tours. We'll give you a little introduction about who we are, general information about Japan, festivals, culture, activities, and of course, biking. We'll explain a little bit more why to cycle in Japan and the Kansai area, more information about the routes and cities along the way, what's included, some exciting things that you can do and see, and a little bit more about the accommodation on the tour. So who are we? I'm Shelley.
I'm Masato.
And we met in Japan at a ski and bike resort in the Nagano prefecture. Our first state was actually biking. After we fell in love in Japan, we moved to Canada and were married in Banff, where we lived for a couple of years before moving to Calgary. We worked and raised our children before we decided to embark on this new adventure, cycling tours in Japan. And why did we do cycling tours in Japan, Masato?
I grew up in Osaka, and in those areas, and actually, in Japan, start Nara and move to Kyoto. Then those history is so many in the Kansai area. That's why I'm gonna introduce Japan culture to everybody.
So we wanted to blend our passion for biking and Japan and all the amazing things to see and welcome visitors from all over the world to join us. So Japan is a really interesting place. The first time I went there, it was much more than just a concrete city, which was my image. The festivals, the rich history, then in this area particularly, the ninja and the samurai history is incredibly interesting. And then you have the modern stuff that is just mind-boggling. What's your favorite thing about Japan, Masato?
Food.
Food. How perfect. There is so much amazing food in Japan. It's well beyond just sushi. There's plenty to eat if you're a vegetarian. There's amazing flavors and different types of things to try, from curries to matcha tempura. What's your favorite, Masato?
I like a quick eat the ramen, and ramen restaurant everywhere in Japan. Then each prefecture has a different fish live there. Those sashimi is amazing, it's good.
Sashimi. Yeah, so fresh, especially along the ocean side. And of course, there's biking, which is our focus and our passion. So biking in Japan, it's like almost everybody in Japan bikes, but mostly they're biking for functionality. So biking to school, biking to the train station, biking to grab your groceries. But cycling as a leisure sport is actually not that popular. But there's so many beautiful trails and places to visit by bike. It's starting to develop. What are a couple of the places, Masato, that you enjoy biking in Japan?
Biking in Japan is like an ocean side in Osaka, quite beautiful. Then the mountain side in Wakayama. Then Nara has so many beautiful places like a stop. But Kyoto is a little busy, but so many places to visit.
So much to see and do. So maybe let's talk a little bit more about where we go. So we talked about the Kansai area. So those of you who are maybe not as familiar with Japan, Kansai area is kind of in the middle of the main island. So Japan, it has the North Island and it's a long main island called Honshu. And Osaka is west and a little bit south of Tokyo. So our tour takes us from the Kansai International Airport and goes south to the seaside of Wakayama, and then goes up through the central part into those historical areas that Masato was talking about, like Nara, Kyoto. We also make a stop in a place called Otsu, which is along Lake Biwa, one of the largest interior lakes on the main island. We'll talk more about Kyoto, and then we end in Osaka City, where you can enjoy the big city before heading off to the rest of your adventure in Japan, or perhaps heading home. So it's a 7-day tour with 6 days of cycling, which is an average about 55 kilometers per day, visiting 6 different cities. Our first place of beginning is the Kansai Airport. So guests arrive on a Wednesday, stay overnight at the hotel, and begin their journey on Thursday morning. We'll introduce everybody to your bikes, to the tour, the cycling map, and get you started on your way. The distance for this one is just under 50 kilometers with a little bit of elevation gain. So it takes anywhere from 3 to 4 hours, depending, of course, how often you stop. Things along the way include the Wakayama Castle, there's beautiful gardens, and if you choose, you can do the oceanside route, or you can go up the viewpoint to the border of Osaka and Wakayama. Along the way, there's some of that delicious ramen that Masato was talking about, or there's also some great seafood places, being that we're traveling along the ocean side. After you have a beautiful stay in Wakayama along the ocean, your next day's journey will take you to Hashimoto. This is one of the longer days, but it's relatively flat, a little bit of elevation gain, but it will be a long day. But there's so much to see along the way and such a nice rural ride. As you can see in this picture, you can see some shrines, some sites along the way, some delicious curry. And there's also some, if you want to look at some samurai museums. Anything you specifically enjoyed in the Wakayama Hashimoto route, Masato?
If you come to the spring, the cherry blossom amazing. Also, there's like a peach farm everywhere in the Wakayama, and yeah, like a fruit farm everywhere. The kind of more spring is so many flowers everywhere.
When do those peaches blossom? That might be nice to try in the fall.
In the spring.
The peaches are ripe in the spring.
It's ripe. It's summer. Usually summer. Yeah.
After your long day and resting in Hashimoto, we take our journey to the Nara area, which is one of the most central old capitals of Japan. This is, again, just a day under 50 kilometers with some elevation gain going through the hills. Along the way, there's large temples, beautiful countryside of rice fields and tea farms. You can enjoy the ride, but the big sights from Hashimoto Nara are really as you get closer to the center of Nara. Along the way, there's this really awesome takoyaki place. And what that is it's a pastry that's filled with sweet beans or cream. And it's such a nice little treat if you're riding and you don't want something too heavy to eat. It's a must try, one of the best in Japan. So Nara itself has a lot to offer, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But we'll talk right now just about your journey from Nara to Otsu. So this is going to be a 40-kilometer ride, but there is a couple of hills near the end. So there is some elevation gain. Before you head out of Nara, again, there's so much to see and do. So from the evening of all the amazing restaurants in the area and the sites, but the big appeal to many tourists is Nara Park and feeding the deer. So the deer love their crackers, their Japanese senbei, and you feed them in the park and they come around you, and it's a very fun experience. If you're more want some extra riding, there's also Biwa Lake at Otsu. It's, again, one of the largest interior lakes on the mainland, but it has amazing bike paths along the way. From Otsu to Kyoto. So this is going to be one of the shorter days with under 20 kilometers. And it should take 1 to 2 hours to ride there. And the reason for having such a short day is there's so much to see in Kyoto. And again, if you're more into the riding and less into sightseeing, you can spend more time at Otsu and around Biwa Lake before heading to Kyoto. Or you can take a straight trip to Kyoto and visit all the amazing famous sites there, from the bamboo forests and the monkeys. Or you can try some games before you head out of Otsu at the place that we're staying. There's shrines. You can enjoy a ride in a traditional rickshaw. You can rent a kimono and wear it for the day or for a couple of hours and visit some of the ancient famous temples. For food, what do you like when you get to Kyoto, Masato?
Kyoto is like a little bit different taste of Osaka. It's kind of like a plain taste, but those decorations amazing. But also there's a tea factory, like a main office in the close by the hotel, and you can try like a matcha ceremony. Then also Ninja Museum there. They explain how to what's happening to the at the times, and you can throw this weapons, and you can take a picture. That's kind of you can try those experience. Then it's a pig
cafe.
pig cafe. You can spend with a little tiny pig, and those kind of things, and kind of interesting.
Something for everybody, it sounds like. So after an exciting day of adventures in Kyoto, you make your way over to Osaka. So Osaka from Kyoto is about 60 kilometers. It's fairly flat and mostly along the riverside around bike-specific pathways. This is a longer day because of the kilometers. And be prepared to get busier as you get closer to Osaka. You're moving from one big center to another big center, but again, along the bike pathways. So much to see along the way, or once you get there. There's more shrines. There's a Gekikan Sake Museum. Once you get to Osaka, there's the Osaka Castle and the Panasonic Museum. So many cool things. One thing that we haven't talked about, but is a very popular place to get food, is a kombini, or a convenience store, which offers a great variety of fresh options, from onigiri, which are rice sandwiches, or fresh noodles. What's your favorite thing from the convenience store, Masato?
Those onigiri is there's how to take off the package. Then it's seaweed has to be so dry. Then you can crunch it in so good.
Sounds perfect. So that's your cycling tour, the routes that you'll take. So what's included? So just to reiterate, a self-guided tour is one where the traveler has a route, information, and some amenities arranged by a company, but is the responsibility of the person traveling to get from point A to point B each day on their own. So with this tour, we include a bike. You can bring your own helmet if you find it more comfortable, or we can provide one as well. A route map on a cycling computer, as well as a paper copy. Accommodations along the way, with breakfasts every morning, plus 2 dinners along the way. And your luggage is transported between locations. So once you leave it in the lobby. It'll be in your hotel room in the next location. You also get a custom jersey, and of course, lots of recommendations of sightseeing and restaurant recommendations along the way. So the accommodation. So what can you expect from the accommodation along your journey? We have everything from rokans, which is a traditional Japanese style hotel, to ancient temples and Western style hotels. Each city has been selected cycling friendly and unique accommodation just for our guests. The locations we've partnered with all have secure bike storage. They have ice machines, or access to ice, so you can fill up your water each day with ice in it. They also have laundry facilities if you'd like to freshen up your clothes, and onsens, or Japanese-style traditional baths. Anything else that you want to point out about the accommodations, Masato?
Accommodation, だからWakayama You must go to the kind of those onsen. They're the most beautiful view ever.
I agree. The touring bikes. So we've partnered with local shops to provide your touring bikes. We're providing a hybrid bike, either a Trek FX4 is the likely bike, or a Cannondale Quick 5. These are provided by Road Bike Rental Japan, which if you're looking for a shorter trip, 1 or 2 days, or just want a day trip around the Osaka area, this is a great location to look into if 6 days is too much for you. We also now have e-bikes. We have a limited availability of e-bikes. So if that's something you're interested in, you can let us know. There is a surcharge for anything different than the hybrid bike that we are offering. We do have road bikes available as well, and you can choose your pedal type. So what type of experiences can you enjoy along the way? So there's so much to do, to see, just besides being on your bike, which is also a great thing to do. Some of the things include renting a kimono to dress up in a traditional Japanese style dress, a cooking class, if that's something that you would like to do. There's a great place in Kyoto that offers these, the Cooking Sun, from an obento, izakaya to sushi. There's so much food. In Hashimoto, there's a beautiful izakaya that has a huge selection of sake, and the owner there is great at picking out the best sake for what you're eating and what your palate is. There's also temples and nightlife, ninja experiences, and tea ceremonies. So something for everybody. Onsens, or Japanese hot springs. So the Japanese word onsen means hot spring, or natural hot water baths, which are rich in beneficial minerals. And there are various types of onsens or baths in Japan, public baths. So every one of our hotels has this facility available to the guests. And there's some special etiquette when visiting Japan baths, as well as just some general things to know. So women and men are separated in different bathhouses. The clothes are not permitted in the baths, and many public baths do not permit guests who have tattoos. All of the hotels that we are staying with do allow guests with tattoos, so that's not a concern. But if you were to visit other onsens in Japan, and if you have a tattoo, you would want to make sure that they accept guests with tattoos. All of ours have it. There's just a few things to know about onsens, as well as there's different names. So I use onsen a little bit liberally because I don't know any better. But there's a rotenburo, which means outdoor bath. And Masato, what is an indoor bath called?
No temburo.
And what is a public bath?
Tento.
Sounds so much better when you say it.
In a sento, you have to bring like all your towels and the soap and the shampoo, and they don't provide it for you.
So if you go to an onsen, or if you're in the hotels in the onsen, all your amenities such as shampoo, body wash, cream rinse, hairbrushes, toothbrushes are all generally provided. But if you go to a sento, which is a public bathhouse in a town, you do have to bring your own amenities. Tour dates. So if you're looking to travel in 2024 in the fall, we have lots of opportunities for you to go. From early October until the mid-November, we have tours that allows you to potentially take in the beautiful fall colors of Japan, depending on how early the season is and what the colors look like.
Pink and yellow? No, just not pink.
The pricing. So the price for a tour in 2024 for per person is $4,000 Canadian, and that includes everything such as your bike rental and helmet, your route map, both electronic and paper, your accommodation for the 6 nights, including breakfast every night and 2 dinners. Your luggage is transported between locations. You get a great custom jersey and all of our recommendations along the way. So Masato and myself will be in Japan on the ground and transporting your luggage. So we will be there. So if there's any important support that you do need although we won't be along the route driving with you, we are on the ground in case anything comes up. We do have limited availability for some spring test tours, which is coming up very shortly. So if this is something you'd be interested in, please let us know, as some of them have already sold out. This is just an example of our beautiful fall jersey designed by Masato. So here's our contact if you'd like to get a hold of us for any other information. Again, I'm Shelley.
And Masato.
And you can look up our website at ocyclejapan.com, or you can email us at ocyclejapan@gmail.com. We also have a local number here in Calgary. It's 825-747-7433. And we do update our Instagram with things about food in Japan, activities to do, and of course, lots of information about biking. So we'll just see if there's any questions from our listeners. Okay, so it looks like there's a few things coming in. What type of cleats or pedals can I have? So we do have the opportunity to offer you the 2 type of cleats or a flat pedal. We highly recommend using a flat pedal, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One reason is that there's a lot of stop and go along the way. So when you're in even small towns, you want to be able to stop quickly if you need to. If there's somebody coming out of their house on a route, or if you're on a bike path and have to get off through a special bike gate. But also when you stop to go to visit, you want to have comfortable shoes to walk around temples and other sites. So we highly recommend flat pedals and comfortable shoes while you're riding. Can the 73-kilometer day be broken into 2? The short answer is no. So our accommodation is all set up ahead of time and all pre-booked. So the hotels are expecting you, and it's not always that easy, especially in some of the higher seasons, to move the hotels, as well as the bike rentals are for a certain time. If you are concerned about the 73-kilometer day, please let us know. There is the e-bike option. We can also look into assisting you with potentially catching a train for part of the day. Security of bikes along stops in hotel when stopping at attractions. So everybody will also be provided a bike lock along with their bike, and maintenance equipment if they do have any minor maintenance or a flat tire along the way. And the security in the stops, we highly recommend that you always lock up your bike no matter when you stop, if you're going to leave your bike, and also take your cycling computer with you. Don't leave it behind. It's very safe in Japan. All of the hotels, we have secured bike storage, and it differs from place to place. So that might be a storage locker at the hotel, in a special staff accommodation, side room, or actually in your room. So unless your bike is directly in your room, even if it's in a safe, secured area, we recommend that you lock it as well. Japan is a very safe place, but also we want to keep the bikes safe. How should we train prior to the tour? So cycling is probably a really good idea, even if you're just doing on a stationary bike, because you want to get your sit bones ready. So having a general overall good health is good. Like if you go to the gym a couple times a week, or work out at home, or go for hiking or walking, you probably have a basic average good health to do this. But you don't want to get surprised by being in the saddle so much every day if you haven't been on a bike. The average kilometers per day is about 55. So we have everything from 20 kilometers on one day right up until 73. So it does vary. And if you decide to do side tours, it can also increase your kilometers. The total tour is about 325 kilometers for the 6 days. The rates for the tours, so the rate is $4,000 per person Canadian based on double occupancy. And if you do want single occupancy, that's possible. There's just a little bit of a surcharge for that. Do we need to take our shoes off in hotels and restaurants? Masato?
Depends the price.
Okay. How do you know?
They're gonna step. Now you must ask. Then usually a slipper, you can use to go inside.
So if there is a step up, then you're most likely going to take your shoes off. And to Masato's point, there's usually slippers there for guests when you do take your shoes off, whether it's a restaurant or a hotel.
Then watch it.
And there's also many times special slippers for the washroom. So if there is, you take off your slippers, put on the bathroom slippers for the toilet room, but make sure you take them off before you enter the main room again. Don't wear them into the restaurant. Etiquette for onsens for foreigners. So the etiquette is for an onsen, and we'll provide our guests with a little bit more information, but you go into the place. It's a quieter place. There's not a lot of loud talking typically. You are allowed a little towel, but you don't bring much else in. You wash prior to getting into the bath. So you shampoo and body wash and rinse really well before you get into the hot baths. And then you rinse off again before you get out. And again, it's a quieter place. And there's many amenities there if you don't have to bring anything with you except yourself or a towel. What do we pack? So I'll give you a quick packing list. It's not extensive, but kind of gives you an idea what to do. Your helmet, if you so desire, water bottles, sunglasses, comfortable shoes. Biking shorts are a good idea. If you have biking shorts with padding, that's a good idea. If not, just comfortable wear that you would wear to the gym. Not something that's too loose or will rub as you're biking every day. And gloves, if you have gloves, because you're going to be on the bike for quite a few hours at a time, you don't want to get any calluses, so gloves are a good idea. Sunscreen, don't forget your sunscreen, or arm warmers / coolers. So I'm very fair, so I really like to wear arm warmers or coolers in Japan. So they're white, lightweight, but they also protect me against the sun. Anything else?
Might use the mosquito.
If you have, if you attract mosquitoes, like some people, you might want to bring bug spray, or you can buy it there as well. Is there any audio to connect to the GPS? So there is GPS audio for the cycling maps, but it's not verbal. It's just beeps. So beep, and you'll have to know if you turn right or left based on looking at your map. Is there a phone app? Yes, we can look into providing you a phone app, although we highly recommend that you use the cycling computer because it does have a long battery life, and you'll be taking pictures and want to do other things on your phone. So if you are planning to use your phone, we would recommend that you bring an extra battery, small battery pack, just in case. What are the arrangements that need to be made for other meals? So it's pretty easy in most places to walk into a restaurant. There are some, like, of course, in the cities, more popular restaurants where you'll want to pre-book, and we can definitely help you with that. Lunch along the way can be anything from a convenience store meal to a big meal, depending on what you're up for, or a bowl of ramen if you so desire. And we have along the cycling map multiple different stops where you can stop for food. So when you feel that you're hungry, you can look where the next place is, and there is quite a few options for you. What nights are the hotels for? So the hotels, as you travel from point A to B, so you have it from Wednesday night when you arrive until Tuesday night of the following week when you land in Osaka. You'll drop off your bikes on Tuesday evening, check into the hotel, and then from that point on, you're free to do what you want. If you need to catch transportation for the next day, you'll just want to have an understanding of the trains and such. And we can definitely also answer any questions on that closer to the time. Any other questions? Anything else, Masato, you want to add?
Yeah, you covered it perfect.
Oh, I think we covered it well together. So we'll stop sharing. So we just want to say a really big thank you to everybody who joined us today. And if you do have any more questions, please let us know. We can be reached at ocyclejapan.com or ocyclejapan@gmail.com. It was great to see everybody. Thanks.
Bye-bye.